There is a very specific feeling that only a certain type of person understands. It is the overwhelming, almost intoxicating sense of relief that washes over you when a social plan gets canceled. You put your phone on Do Not Disturb, you close your bedroom door, and for the first time all day, you can actually breathe. To the outside world, you might look antisocial, depressed, or just flaky. But inside your mind, you are not trying to be difficult. You're just trying to survive. Millions of people quietly suffer from a phenomenon known as chronic self-isolation. They retreat to their rooms, let text messages pile up for days, and slowly cut ties with the outside world. Society often labels this behavior as lazy or rude. But in psychology, isolating yourself is rarely a sign that you don't care about people. In fact, it is usually a sign that you care too much and your nervous system has simply collapsed under the weight of it. Today, we are going to explore the psychology of people who hide, the invisible exhaustion of masking, and how to find your way back out of the sanctuary that has become your prison. Before we go deeper, we have to draw a hard line between healthy introversion and psychological isolation. Introverts isolate to recharge. Their brains simply require less dopamine to feel stimulated, so a quiet room feels peaceful. When they are done reading a book or taking a walk, they return to the world feeling refreshed. But for people trapped in chronic isolation, spending time alone does not recharge their battery. It just stops the battery from draining faster. Science refers to this state using a concept called social allostatic load, the accumulated wear and tear on your body from chronic social stress. For you, stepping out your front door feels like stepping onto a battlefield. You aren't isolating because you hate the world. You are isolating because your brain's threat detection center, the amygdala, is telling you that the outside world is too unpredictable, too demanding, and too exhausting to navigate. Your bedroom has become your only safe zone. But this creates the sanctuary trap. The longer you stay inside to feel safe, the more terrifying the outside world becomes. Sign 1. The exhaustion of the social mask. The most common reason people isolate themselves is completely invisible. The exhaustion of the social mask. Psychologists call this self-monitoring or masking. When you're around other people, you don't just exist, you perform. You constantly monitor your tone of voice, you force yourself to make the right amount of eye contact, you laugh at jokes that aren't funny, and you hyperanalyze how everyone in the room is reacting to you. You operate under the subconscious belief that your real self is too sad, too anxious, or too broken to be accepted. So you build a shiny, acceptable version of yourself to show the world. But keeping that mask held up takes a staggering amount of cognitive energy. You isolate yourself because you are tired of performing. You ignore text messages not because you hate your friends, but because replying requires you to put the mask back on, and your arms are simply too tired to hold it up anymore. Sign 2. Hyperindependence as a trauma response. There is a second type of isolation that looks very different. It dresses up as strength. It's the person who says, I don't need anyone, I can do it all myself. In psychology, this is known as hyperindependence. It is a classic symptom of an avoidant attachment style. This type of isolation usually stems from a past where relying on others was dangerous or disappointing. Maybe you had parents who were emotionally unavailable, or maybe you opened up to someone in the past and they used it against you. Your brain learned a harsh mathematical equation: other people equal pain. So you isolate yourself preemptively. If you don't let anyone get close, no one can abandon you. If you don't ask for help, no one can let you down. You build a fortress of self-reliance. It looks impressive from the outside, but inside, it is incredibly lonely. You have confused isolation with safety. Sign 3. The shame spiral. Perhaps the most tragic reason for isolation is the shame spiral. This happens when you withdraw from the world because you feel you are not successful enough, happy enough, or healed enough to be seen. You tell yourself, I will reach out to my friends when I lose weight. I will go to that party when I get a better job. I will date when my mental health is perfectly fixed. You believe that connection is a prize you have to earn. This is rooted in a deep psychological wound called core defectiveness, the lingering belief that you are fundamentally flawed. You isolate because you are hiding your perceived failures from the world. But perfection is a moving target. By waiting until you are fixed to let people in, you guarantee that you will spend your life completely alone. You are denying yourself the exact thing that could help you heal: human connection in the midst of your messiness. When you isolate yourself for too long, a dangerous biological shift happens. According to social baseline theory, Human brains are literally wired to process stress with other people. When we are alone, every problem looks biologically bigger to our nervous system. When you sit alone in your room for days, your brain's default mode network, DMN, kicks into overdrive. Without external input, your brain turns inward and begins to eat itself. It replays old embarrassing memories, analyzes every flaw in your personality, and magnifies your anxieties. Furthermore, neuroscience shows that the brain processes social isolation in the exact same area that processes physical pain. Long-term loneliness sends a constant stream of cortisol, the stress hormone, through your veins. You retreated to your room to find peace, but your isolation has actually turned your mind into an echo chamber of anxiety. So, how do you escape? If you have spent years building a fortress to keep the world out, you cannot tear it down in a day. The thought of going to a party or reconnecting with everyone you've ignored is enough to send you into a panic attack. The psychological solution is graduated exposure. You don't have to break down the wall, you just have to carve out a window. Healing from isolation doesn't mean becoming an extrovert. It means finding one safe place to put the mask down. It means sending one text message that says, "I've been going through a hard time and isolating, but I miss you." It means going to a coffee shop and just sitting near people without even talking to them, just to teach your nervous system that the outside world is not entirely hostile. You are not broken for wanting to hide. The world is loud, demanding, and often cruel. But the safety of your isolation is an illusion. It is a waiting room for a life you are not living. If this video felt like looking into a mirror, please do not hide again. Leave a comment, share your thoughts. If this helped you understand yourself better, please subscribe. You aren't alone, and you don't have to carry it all by yourself. I am the Simple Nerd, and I'll see you in the next one.